What's going on, YouTubers? It's your buddy, it's your pal, SpazPhoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is going to be a fun video. Now, anybody that's seen any of my Raw reviews, any of my pay-per-view reviews, anybody that's really subscribed to this channel that pays any attention at all knows the last thing I do in a video is, how is my Fave 5 doing this evening? Now, the Fave 5 has always been, since I announced it, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, and Randy Orton. And I said from the beginning, these five, I am in no way, shape, or form saying that these are the best guys ever in wrestling. These are the guys that I tune in to watch. Now, I just recently finished a conversation with Deluxe Man. We're both very, very excited about where the current roster is, and there's a lot to be excited about in the WWE. So much so that I had to come and make this video. Now, my Fave 5 are still my Fave 5. They are still the top of the heap for me. But I am at the point now that I am so excited about the current product in WWE that I have to create Spaz's Fave 5 Tier 2. Starting off with somebody that I was a little late in the game to be a fan of. In my original Fave 5, CM Punk, head and shoulders above the other four. I kind of joke that he's the captain of that tier, the captain of Tier 2 for my secondary Fave 5 is none other than that boy Daniel Bryan. Now, I've admitted this before and I will admit it again. I was not high on Daniel Bryan when he first came in. I didn't know what he had done before in the indies, in ROH, etc. I didn't know about the vegan thing or why it was true, and much of that was taught to me by Deluxe Man and some of the other horsemen, and it's awesome. And then, you know, they didn't exactly book him that strongly either. They brought him in as the most bland character in a glomp of like 8 guys that came from the original NXT, which wasn't the greatest way to bring him in. And then they got rid of him for, you know, political whatever reasons. And then they brought him back, and he was initially associated with John Cena, bringing him back in to fight the Nexus. Now, any association with John Cena is automatically going to get you deducted points in my book. And then they booked him on a hell of a losing streak. But even when he was on the losing streak, I was starting to see this is a guy that makes everybody look like gold, and why is WWE not giving him the ball and running with it? Then he won Money in the Bank, and I thought, alright, this kid's going to have a breakthrough in a big way. He's going to break out at WrestleMania. That happened a little prematurely when he cashed in on the Big Show a couple months before WrestleMania. Had a bit of a run battling Big Show, Mark Henry, leading up to WrestleMania. Now, when I did my WrestleMania review, I was really, really laughing about the Sheamus Daniel Bryan sort of 18-second squash match. Wasn't because I thought it was a good thing. Let me clarify that. It was more so me on sort of a vindictive level, loving watching the YWC freak out. And I'm watching this, and it's like, yeah, that's going to piss this person and this person and this person and this person off. So YouTube, to me, was going to become the show after the show because of how pissed off people were about that. But it really was ridiculously garbage. But to lead us up to what we have now, where Daniel Bryan is on the A show, going for what is undoubtedly the A belt, in the long run, it's a good thing. And in the process, even though he's been a heel, he's been playing psychological mind games with everybody, from his ex-girlfriend to his current contender to, you know, anybody in between, and still making everybody that he works with look like gold, as well as himself. Daniel Bryan, I'm a big fan of CM Punk, but Daniel Bryan has to be the greatest in-ring technical performer that we have in the WWE right now, and that is why he is top of the list in Tier 2. Secondly, and the only tag team to make it onto any of my lists at the moment, is the Usos. And everybody that sees the greatness in the Usos is all pissed off because why don't they have the tag team championships yet? I see it and I agree, but I don't think it's as bad as most people think it is, only because we have all these ramshackle tag teams put together. Prime example, this Sunday at Over the Limit, we've got Jack Dolph versus R-Boom, which, you know, R-Truth and Kofi Kingston are growing on me, and they're an okay team, but they're still a thrown together team. Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, I've gone on record before as saying this is going to be an anchor tied to Dolph Ziggler's waist if he actually wins a tag team championship with Jack Swagger and Vicky, and all that continues to go on. The only other team that's even as close to looking like a tag team, acting like a tag team, performing like a tag team to the Usos is Epico and Primo, and they've, you know, sort of gone into obscurity. Their story right now is their relationship with their new manager, not what they're doing in the ring. The Usos are fun to watch. They've got charisma to spare. They are brothers, which, you know, always contributes to the dynamic in the ring. They've got the heritage with being with the sons of Rikishi and all that. And it's one of those teams that I can look at and say, when I still have a dwindling hope for the tag team division, these guys' time will come. I'm thoroughly confident of that. And that's why they get their spot on this list. I anticipate their great moment. And I think when the belts do land on Jimmy and Jey Uso, they are going to find a great home. Third is not going to be very popular. The third is Alberto Del Rio, Mr. Destiny. Now, everybody else that I talk to can't stand Del Rio at the moment, and I get it. Because when he came in, I took one look at him, took one look at his character, saw how obnoxious he was, and I turned my nose up in the air. The same way I did to JBL. And when I look back on JBL matches now, I wish we had him back. So as soon as I realized that comparison, I made myself take a second look at him. Why is he so good? Because he's so bad. Why is he so despised? Why is he so annoying? Because he's a heel, and he's supposed to be. When he first came in, like I said, I didn't give him the time of day, but then I started watching him in the ring. He's exciting to watch. Nobody can deny that. You know, everybody's saying, oh, well, you know, his valet, his announcer guy's more entertaining than him. His valet's had a couple of jump-in spots. Granted, he's had, you know, his moments in the indies as well, or so I hear. I don't see that. I am the dictionary definition WWE fan, whereas I'm going to wait. I've said this, I actually said this in a great video with the Lexman just a little while ago where we talked about the Over the Limit title matches and such like that. I like to be the WWE fan, whereas when these guys come up from the indies, come up from FCW, come up from ROH or OVW, or even transfer over from TNA or, you know, Shikara or New Japan, All Japan, when they get to WWE, they can be new to me, and that's great. But, you know, in WWE, Ricardo Rodriguez is an announcer. In WWE, Ricardo Rodriguez is the cliff note, the punchline of Alberto Del Rio's character. And that's where he sits. So to me, that's what he is. What he's done in other companies doesn't... I don't want to say it's not important, because that's definitely not where I'm going with this, but it doesn't have bearing on what I'm watching. He's a comical character, which is absolutely fantastic, and he complements Alberto Del Rio greatly. But Alberto Del Rio in the ring, he's entertaining to watch, because you know what? People will shoot me for this, but he reminds me of Eddie Guerrero, when Eddie Guerrero was legitimately being a jackass heel. Nobody's gonna like that I'm saying that, but it's true. But on the other hand, nobody likes it when I compare The Miz to Edge either, and it hasn't stopped me from saying it until I run out of breath, until it stops being true in these eyes. So yes. Next, Justin Gabriel. Now, this is a guy... I watched NXT. I watched NXT Season 1. I don't bother with NXT Redemption now unless I've got nothing better to do and I'm surfing around on YouTube. But the first season of NXT was kind of fun. And I saw Justin Gabriel. And I saw him pull off a couple of matches. I saw him pull some pretty high-flying shit. Some stuff that we hadn't seen in the WWE in a while, with the exception of maybe Evan Bourne. And he had a style and a look and a feel to the way he did his matches that reminded me, and this is, again, you know, in the fan heart that beats in this chest reminds me and gave me the same feeling that I got when I first watched the Hardys come up, specifically Jeff Hardy. For those of you that don't know that I'm a huge Hardy mark, this guy, this kid right here, who hasn't even nearly touched his prime yet, touches that same, tweaks that same part of my mark brain that Jeff Hardy does. That's how, for anybody that knows me, that's how much stock I put in Justin Gabriel. They've had him on NXT, he looked great. They brought him in as part of the Nexus. He didn't really get to shine. When they did a Nexus beatdown, the punctuation point was the 450 splash. When they broke up the Nexus and formed the core, they put him in a horrendous tag team with Heath Slater, and we see where Heath Slater is now, don't we? Oh, yes we do. Heath Slater here. Justin Gabriel should be way the fuck up here. You want proof of that? Look at the mini rivalry he had with Cody Rhodes over the Intercontinental Championship. The fact that he never made any headway there is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that he was having great matches with Cody Rhodes, but Big Show was the one that got to go to the big dance with Cody Rhodes for the IC Championship, fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. I look for this kid to do huge things. The one thing I've said in the past week or so, Raw is going to be 3 hours. This, if there was ever a time to bring back something like a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight championship or division, do it now. While you've got that extra time, while you've got that wiggle room, that elbow room to do something new and different, either bring back Evan Bourne, have Gabriel and Bourne be a tag team, which would be fucking phenomenal, or have a light heavyweight division or a cruiserweight division. You've got the guys to do it. Ray's coming back. Sin Cara's coming back. You've got Evan Bourne. You've got, you know, a bunch of light guys. You got Kofi Kingston, even though he's part of the tag team championship scene right now. And capping it off at the top of that list would be Justin Gabriel, in my personal opinion. Justin Gabriel, number 4 on the second tier Fave 5. And the last one is a guilty pleasure for me, because we haven't nearly seen this guy hit his stride yet. The last one is Ryback, and I'm sorry, everybody starts comparing Ryback to Goldberg in a negative context. I compare him to Goldberg in the most positive context I can possibly fathom in this skull of mine right now. Goldberg and Ryback now, I can turn my analytical brain off. I can turn my, let's dissect every little tiny thing about this match, about this segment, about this superstar. I can turn all of that off, and I can have fun. I have fun with Ryback, because you're going to see somebody come in there who's ridiculously out everythinged. They're going to come in there, they're going to shoot their mouth off, they're going to think they have a chance. Ryback's going to come in and completely obliterate the fact or the notion that they were ever born, and I'm going to laugh my ass off because the devious part of my brain wants to laugh. My pleasure in those matches comes from the pain of anybody that steps in the path of Ryback. So Ryback, I love. Ryback is the last cap of this second tier Fave 5 because he is the most pure, fun superstar for me to watch right now. So yeah, Fave 5 is still CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, and Randy Orton. Second tier Fave 5 right now, I'm stating it, and it's going to stay as fact. Captained by Daniel Bryan. You have the Usos, you have Alberto Del Rio, you have Justin Gabriel, and you have the human tank known as Ryback. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep this conversation going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
Get up, come on.